Hey, hey, Elwood City. It's been a minute since we've had a weekly news wrap-up here on WXED. How you doing, Cassie?
Sick again, Nikki.
Sick again. I'm kind of thinking she's allergic to me, y'all.
It's like every week that I'm here to see you.
I know. We missed 2 weeks, and I'm sure you felt fine.
Actually, no.
No? You were sick without me, too?
I was, actually. Yeah, it was a bit of a lie that sick because of you, but no, it's just the weather. This weather has been absolutely ridiculous. It was just 70 last weekend, and
and then we got lots of snow just the other day, so it's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm really up and down with the weather.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of sick.
I know, it's been a really bad year for it. I feel like a lot of people have just been getting sick and holding on to it, and or getting sick a lot. So
well, yeah, and plus this year a really bad strain of the flu came out, and there's been people dying from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
No, I mean, I don't really watch the news.
I try to shut the news off because it depresses me. But yeah, there was a new strain of the flu virus that hit this year, and it's killed several kids.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, kids from preschool up to 4th grade. Yeah,
wow.
There's been a lot of flu deaths, and at least half of them had gotten the flu vaccine and still got the flu. Yeah.
That is crazy. It must be because it's a new strain of it,
Right. So it was really scary. A friend of mine called me the other day and said that her daughter was running 104 temperature, and she said, I'm not sure if I should take her to the doctor or just strip her down and give her some medicine to try to break the fever. And I was like, you don't mess with this new strain of flu. You take her to the hospital now, and then she did. And her daughter's getting better. But it's scary.
Oh, it is scary. And I know with high fevers as well, you also run the risk of,
right,
getting...
When I was a kid, I had a fever so high, it gave me a seizure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can have
my
strokes.
My
and all
brain
kinds
went
of
nuts.
Stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really a serious thing. And definitely around this time to take care of yourself and make sure that whenever you are sick that you're monitoring what's going on with your symptoms.
Luckily with the times changing and the knowledge of different things changing, things are, I think, safer now than they were when I was young. My brother's only 4 years older than me, and when my brother was about 2 years old, he had a fever of 105, and back then in the early 70s, the hospital treatment for 105 was to shock you in an ice bath.
Oh, that's not good.
And they damaged his heart. But they didn't know that back then. Yeah, they damaged his heart because they put him into an ice bath. And so now they tell you, don't ever do that. So here's the problem is the medical field has more knowledge now. The technology is advanced. But you're going to get these people who are going to listen to these old wives' tales from 50 or 100 years ago, and somebody's grandma is going to tell them to stick their kid in an ice bath.
Yeah, and it's going to do more damage than good, honestly.
Exactly.
I mean,
right.
Yeah,
they say now put them in just tepid water, which is just lukewarm.
Right.
Slightly cooler than your body temperature water.
Exactly, or just give them some Tylenol or Advil because that also is a fever reducer.
My mother, she used to take tea towels, which hand towels.
Yeah.
And she used to wet them with cold water right out of the sink, not icy cold or nothing, just wet them with water. And she used to lay them across my chest and wrap them around my neck. And that would take my fever down usually right away.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's interesting to know. And, again, with summer coming up as well, there's always that risk of Lyme's disease, especially in Pennsylvania. So,
right.
We're not necessarily out of the clear, even with the weather becoming warm, just different ailments, really.
Yeah. We went to do the same tea towel method with my daughter. We were talking about summertime coming because my daughter, her body has a hard time regulating its temperature, and so she gets overheated and she'll pass out. So every summer we go camping and stuff. We'll be out in the sun doing stuff at amusement parks, and we always have to lay a bandana or something, we'll dip it in water and we'll tie it around her head, or we'll wrap it around her neck, because all the blood coming up through your main arteries in your neck, if you keep something cool wrapped around your neck, it'll lower your body temperature.
I really didn't know that.
Yeah, another trick is if you're overheated, to run your wrists, the underside of your wrists, under cold water, and that's what happens. It's where you have all your main blood flow
Right.
flowing. If you can cool it down, it'll cool
Right.
down your core temperature.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, definitely a good tip. So,
All right, so you're sick, everybody's sick, the weather's crazy. Welcome
Yeah.
to Pennsylvania.
exactly. It's nothing new at all.
I'm gnawing on almonds over here, which is why I keep getting hiccups, but I can't stop.
They are really good. Nikki actually ended up sharing a couple with me. What
I know. I bought like 3 different flavors today. I'm addicted to flavored almonds.
Flavored almonds are legit. I've never had them. Like, I've had like chocolate covered ones, but
We have Crystal from Crystal's Country Corner hanging out over there beside you, and she is munching away at this trail mix that I made because I went on this high protein diet. So I gave up like chips and cake and ice cream and all that junk. But now I'm addicted to trail mix. And she had just asked me a couple of weeks ago to make some new trail mix. There must be 30 different things in there. I mean, everything from dried fruit to, probably 10 different kinds of nuts and like all this. So that's our new addiction up here at WXCD. Everybody's been chowing down on trail mix.
Speaking of which, are you celebrating Lent at all? Are you giving anything up? Or?
No. I'm not Catholic, but I feel like I gave up everything I loved a couple of weeks ago when I went on this diet. I don't want to say it's a diet though, it was like a life change.
Yeah, it's just changing your,
Yeah, I gave up. I don't drink any soda. And
that's hard. That's hard to just go from like eating unhealthy to
right. Oh yeah,
eating
yeah.
healthy.
I remember I had like a mini breakdown about a week into it, and I had
it's hard.
Well, I had said something to Sid Vicious about being proud of me, and he kind of scoffed at me and said, "What? Like, you want me to pat you on the back because you're on a diet?" And I
it
if
makes
you could
all
have
the
heard my
difference.
eyeball at that moment, I was ready to kill somebody.
Oh man, whenever like, especially as a female, like I don't know, at least myself, I always look for validation in like the smallest things I do from like my boyfriend or whoever. You know what I mean? And so even if it's like really something stupid, like, hey, I just did the dishes, you know what I mean? If they don't appreciate that, it's really offensive.
That was how the conversation had started. Was I said to him, I said, when I first met you, you used to do like, backflips every little thing I would do. I mean, if I cleaned off the counter, you would be like, babe, great job, it looks good. And I'm like, and now I'm struggling to do all this stuff and you're not even noticing. And he was just like, okay, and what do you want me to notice? And I just was like livid.
I know.
And I was getting ready to leave to go to work, and I was so mad that I was crying, and then I was trying to put on makeup so I could go to work. I went to work looking like they have never seen me before. You see me all the time without makeup.
Mm-hmm.
People at work do not see me like that. So I showed up to work and they were like, are you sick? Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, no, I just didn't have enough time to play hide the ugly. Leave me alone.
I understand. But speaking of religion, I know that we were actually discussing this before on the air, but Holy Redeemer Catholic School is now scheduled to close at the end of this.
Yeah, the end of the school year. That's been a big topic.
Yeah. I mean, I went to the school meeting last week. Well, I guess it was this week. And there were, quite a lot of families in there. And a lot of them expressed their concern and their sadness about the school closing. And, a lot of people asked what they could possibly do to table the issue or kind of, I don't know, put it in limbo for right now, just kind of keep the school open until further notice. But, the priest was very adamant on there's just no more funding at all. So they have to close as soon as possible. I mean, he said that he would look into whatever option, talking to the bishop, if there's anything else that they could possibly do to keep it open. But he said unless there's literally like double the attendance by like, I think he said like by mid-April, like people, like they would need like 40 families to enroll their kids by the mid of April in order to even consider staying open. So lacking funds. I mean, at the time, there's only 42 families there anyways.
Well, I guess that, the best that you can do in that situation is literally pray for a miracle. Because I don't see 40 families enrolling in the next few weeks.
No, and,
But however, they might find someone with someone who's pressed to donate.
Well, that's actually what Father Mark was saying, was that the only reason that the school stayed open the past couple semesters was because someone who had passed away had donated a generous sum of money. Like he said, either $200,000 or $300,000, and that's what had really been keeping the school open for the past couple semesters. And he said now that the money is completely run out and no other families enrolled their kids in January, that they are just absolutely at a dead end with it, and it doesn't look good for the school. And like I said, a lot of families kind of put out ideas like making a GoFundMe page or doing fundraisers and stuff like that. And he said even if they did get enough money, like from those sorts of things, it's only going to delay the inevitable, because without children enrolling, like without families enrolling their kids, it's not going to sustain the school. And there was a lot of discussion about just in general how they believe that a lot of young families are not as necessarily religious anymore, and that's a big problem with the schools and why they're closing, is because these young families are not.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that the town has gone awry when it comes to the religion. I think that what happened is a lot of families are utilizing homeschooling options, because even if you don't like public schooling, homeschooling is so easy now because of the online,
Right.
And I think that's what's happening. I don't, I don't think that religious families are going rogue. I think that they're just going with homeschooling. And it would be unique if the Catholic schools could come up with their own homeschooling program.
That's actually a really interesting idea, in fact. But, I know from my own, again, personal perspective, I did cyber school for a couple years in high school, and I had the best time of my life doing cyber school.
Yeah, my kids do cyber school. They love it.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And I mean, they set you up as well. Like whenever I took a drawing course, they sent me the books, they sent me
all
drawing
the art supplies,
yeah. All the materials.
Yeah, my
and
daughter's the same way.
Yeah, so I think cyber school is definitely becoming a more sought after option, especially with the way that schools are going nowadays. And not only that, but I think a lot of young families are thinking to themselves, like, no matter if I put my kid in Catholic school or regular school, I'm still paying school taxes for the local school. So why would you pay to put your kid in a classroom whenever you're paying for a free class? Like, you know what I mean? You're paying the taxes for the public school.
And economically, times are hard.
Exactly.
And people have to go with the most viable options for their budgets. And it's sad to see a school go, but like I said, it would be unique if they could create their own online schooling, even if there was a tuition base to keep that going. I'm sure it would be cheaper than keeping the school up and going, and they would still be able, families would still have the option to pay the tuition fee to make sure that their education was still structured around the Catholic religion,
Right.
I think it would be unique. It would be interesting if somebody could come up with a viable plan for them.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool idea, and I kind of hope that someone who has some sort of relevance in that scene hears this and maybe can get the ball rolling with that kind of...
Put it out on social media. Maybe somebody will pick up on it.
Yeah, exactly. But besides that, the only other thing that's really been going on is just that council sold the old L&N building to Worksite Medical for their bid of $375,000 just in was it February? Yeah, in February.
Okay.
And so we can look forward to having a new medical building in the local area, which as someone said that I interviewed, that they're pleased to hear that another medical company is coming in here, and with the hospital closing and whatnot, well, the rumors of the hospital closing, that
Well, the hospital's in the same situation where they thought that closing was imminent last year. They got a financial donation, but just the same with the school. If you're not getting the continuous means to support, an ongoing venture, then you're going to come to the end of the road eventually.
Right. So, with the suspicion that the hospital might close, some people are finding it to be comforting to know that other medical things are still investing in the community, and it's a building that is now sold, and that money is going to go back into the borough, which again is a lot better than having just an abandoned building.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that Elwood's making a lot of good steps towards the future, getting new businesses to come in, revitalizing the resources that we have, and deciding which ones need to just be taken out, torn down, sold off, whatever, and then rebuilding new. And a lot of people, there was a big discussion about how the borough should spend more money just fixing up old stuff.
Right.
And then the borough wants to build new. But if you look at it, it's going to cost more in the long run to just fix something that's old and broken, because
than to build something new.
Yeah, because you think about if you were to split a building into 10 pieces, but only 6 of them needed repaired now. If you spend that money to repair 6 of them, the other 4 are still deteriorating at just the same rate. But if you build something new, then you have another lifetime, before you need to spend any money on that. So
right, I definitely think that they're going in the right direction with their investments. You definitely get a lot of different opinions on that, but for anyone that's interested in knowing anything more about that or what council is up to, their next meeting is going to be this Monday, so
yeah. And also, everybody who listens to the weekly news wrap-up, you can always find information about everything on elwoodcity.org.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, usually in the beginning of the show I mentioned that you're from elwoodcity.org, but I forgot it today.
That's okay. I'm sure that people probably already know, hopefully, that my voice and yours together.
A lot of people, it's funny, they tell me that you and I sound alike sometimes, and Crystal and I sound alike sometimes, and they have a hard time telling who's talking.
Really? I don't think we sound alike at all.
No. My voice is super deep. Your voice is cute and girly.
See, I hate my voice.
Everybody says they hate their own voice.
I know, isn't that weird? That is really weird, but no, I don't think that we sound alike at all.
I don't think we do either. Once in a while, Crystal and I sound alike if we're both being rowdy, and people will listen to the show and be like, I couldn't tell which one of you was talking.
Maybe it's just because me and you both kind of have a really chilled out attitude. There's not a whole lot of emotion between anything that we say. It's just kind of monotone with both of us.
You have to be, though, because it's a news wrap up, and being a low power station like we are, we're not allowed to really have a whole lot of unique opinion, especially not about things that are political,
right?
Or things like that. So I try to just kind of stay balanced on the middle of the fence with everything.
Exactly.
Because if I go too crazy, if I go too crazy one way or the other, I'm gonna have somebody stalking me or something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's I don't preferably mean to come off like Ben Stein all the time, but I just need to be middle of the road.
Exactly. That's how I am. Although I think I just by the time that I'm over here and recording, my day is pretty much over.
Right, yeah.
I'm just ready for a nap. So that's probably where my monotone comes from. It's just, I'm just
tired. I'm the opposite. Whenever you come over, I'm just getting here today.
Yeah.
So my day is just starting.
Right. But that is it, Nikki. Surprisingly, for as many weeks as we've missed, there's really not a whole lot big going on, which, as we always say, that can be a good thing. And
right,
in
no
this
news
case,
is good news. All right, well, if that's all that we have for today, then we're going to call it a wrap. That was our weekly news wrap up here on WXED 107.3 FM, also streaming on the web, WXEDFM.com.